This is officially the biggest World Cup that has ever existed. Not the most talked about, not the most watched. The biggest, structurally, by every measurable number. And most people watching it right now don't actually understand how it works. Here's why that matters. If you don't understand the format, half the drama doesn't even land. So let's fix that completely right now in under 5 minutes. By the end of this, you'll understand this tournament better than people who've been watching football their whole lives but never actually learned the structure. Stick around, because the ending explains why this format might completely change how future World Cups are built. Let's start with the obvious one. 48 teams. In theory, that's just more teams. In practice, that's a 16-team jump from every World Cup before this one. This is the biggest expansion in the tournament's history, and it changes almost everything downstream. You know the type of change that sounds small on paper but reshapes an entire system? This is that. More teams doesn't just mean more games. It means an entirely new bracket shape. Here's where it gets interesting. This World Cup isn't hosted by one country. It's hosted by 3: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In theory, that sounds like a logistical nightmare. In practice, it's exactly that, but in a good way. Games are spread across cities on 2 ends of a continent, which means this tournament is genuinely massive geographically, not just in team count. This sounds simple. It isn't. Teams and fans are dealing with time zones, travel, and climate differences that no single host World Cup has ever had to account for. Now, here's the part that trips up even longtime fans. The classic World Cup group stage always had groups of 4 teams. This one doesn't. With 48 teams, the group stage is now built around groups of 3. Here's the deal. Fewer teams per group means fewer group games for everyone, but it also means less room for error. In a group of 4, you get some breathing room. In a group of 3, one bad result, and you're already in trouble. This sounds like a small tweak. It isn't. It fundamentally changes how cautiously teams play their opening matches. Here's the twist most people miss entirely. Because so many teams now qualify from the group stage, this tournament added an entirely new knockout round that didn't exist before. The round of 32. In theory, more knockout games just means a longer tournament. In practice, it means more chances for a smaller nation to catch a giant off guard before the big names even get comfortable. This is the exact round where a lot of this tournament's biggest shocks have already happened. More rounds, more chaos, more opportunity for chaos to matter. So here's how it all funnels down. Round of 32, then round of 16, then quarterfinals, then semifinals, then the final. 5 full knockout rounds, each one cutting the field roughly in half until one team is left standing. You know the type of structure that sounds complicated until someone draws it out? This is genuinely that simple once you see it laid out step by step. 48 becomes 32, becomes 16, becomes 8, becomes 4, becomes 2, becomes 1. This World Cup isn't just bigger, it's structurally different from every tournament before it. More teams, 3 hosts, smaller groups, and an extra knockout round all combine into a format that rewards different skills than the old one did. So here's a question worth sitting with. If this expanded format keeps producing more shocks and more must-watch moments than the old one ever did, is there any chance FIFA ever goes back to the way it used to be? If this helped you finally understand how this tournament actually works, subscribe, because there's a lot more of this format still left to explain.